Okay, and welcome to this, the fourth video in the series of 10 on the playthrough of Midgar by Avalanche. Okay, so on the last episode what we've done is we've gone through the sector slums, we've met Eris's mother, and we've realised now that we want to get back and find Tifa as we did spot her. Now what I've done at the moment is I've come back to the Saving Wall Market and we're going to head straight north. I've let the video play through to this area here. It's a bit of a seedy place, and it's basically like a private mansion for Don Corneo, who's a big shot. Now, obviously, we know he doesn't like men. Now, once you've come up here, you then need to go to the other end of town. I'll let the video play through for the time being. There's actually going to be no battles for this entire video, so it'll be I'll be able to cram in a lot more material. Now, if we go down to the other end of town, obviously I've got all the waypoints listed. We'll find out that Tifa's come here. So if we speak to the front desk, so we know Tifa's here and we know she's speaking with Don Corneo, obviously up the top again. So we go back up to the top. I'm just going to fade out, and then if we speak to the guy at the front desk here, he'll tell us that Tifa's inside. So obviously Cloud here doing his usual, macho guy. Oh, you can't do it. I can't let you do it. So obviously Cloud knows what this type of place is. Now, one of the dilemmas here is that he wants to speak to Tifa, but at the same time he doesn't really know what's going on because he's quite dolled up and in a big cart. Now, this is where Aerith comes up with a clever idea. And this is the first item gathering quest. You've got to dress up like a girl. It might sound dead easy, but actually it's quite hard. There's a lot of different things you've got to do. Right. Now, basically, you have a choice now to do a lot of optional quests. Well, I say quests, item gathering. You have to gather 2 items, then there's a chance to gather another 4. Now, if you gather all of the best items, you will get selected by Don Corneo, and it'll give you a chance to skip some battles. If you don't gather all the items, then Don Corneo won't select you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to gather all the items, but I'm not going to do it. So we're going to do 2 playthroughs of this. So the first step is to get the items that you have to get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 90% of the items, save it, and then have 2 playthroughs. One where I get the last few items and Don Corneo selects me, and the other one where he doesn't. So obviously you found out the first thing to do is get dressed. You dress up as a girl, and the dressmaker's at the bar drunk. So they've just quickly realised, hang on, he's going to try and help the drunk dad. And the shopkeeper's quite insistent. Obviously Eris is worked out if we do this we might get a favour from them. Maybe, get our dress that we want. So we're going to go, first of all, get a dress. So you go back up here, into the bar, and then speak to the guy at the bar who's plastered. I own the clothes shop, but I ain't your father. You can clearly tell that the game had a bit of fun writing the dialogue for this scene. She did just say for Cloud to go over there, but obviously the game, you can't walk any further down there, so it looks like you're next to it. So, what kind of dress? Now, you've got to be very careful here. You need something that feels soft, and something that shimmers. Now, there's 4 choices here, 2 for each. Now, if you pick the top option, you get the worst dress. If you pick the bottom option and then the top option, you get the middle dress, and if you pick the bottom option twice, you get the best dress. Basically, the reason behind this is that you want something that is soft and shimmers. In other words, it'll be shiny, like, a very fancy, expensive dress. Now, if you come back, they've actually beaten you to it. And they've already made the dress for you. And there's the shop owner behind the bar. So you get a silk dress, obviously, silk, the kind of item which is going to be soft and shimmery. The other 2 you've got are a satin dress, and then you've got another dress which is obviously the worst dress to have, which is the plain dress. Now, it's very important here that you be careful what you do here, because what he's doing is he's trying the dress on, but he's not actually going to keep it on. Now, this is really important, because once he puts the dress on, the quest finishes. So Cloud's now taken the dress off. Now once you come back into the shop and put the dress back on, which you can do after you've got the second item, the wig, as he just alluded to, that's when the quest finishes. So now what you've got to do is get the wig, but then not put it on. So we're going to come into the little judo here. Now, this is the same as the dress situation. There are 3 types of wigs to get. So if you lose to Big Bro, the guy here, in a competition, you'll get the worst wig. If you draw with him, you'll get the medium wig, and if you beat him, you'll get the best wig. So you've got to compete, doing squats. Now basically all this involves is a 3-button combination on your gamepad or keyboard. So what will happen now is the chap in blue will obviously explain to you how to do it. You press switch, cancel, OK. Now obviously if you're playing on the PlayStation version, OK will obviously be your X button. OK will be your circle button, cancel will be your X button, and switch is your square button. Switch, cancel, OK. Now obviously Big Bro wants to win. So if you click here a little, you can start practicing. So this is the routine. Now if you try and do it too fast, you'll end up pressing the wrong button, so you've got to try and get it into a routine. So like 1, 2, 3, like so. And that timer on the top, that's how much you're going to get in the real competition. Now I think once we've finished this, we'll start straight away. Now the real thing, you need about 17 or 18 to win. So we're about even at the moment. He's slightly ahead, but then he'll stop halfway through, and that gives me a chance to overtake him. I think during the game you get a chance to make 1 mistake. If you make more than 1 mistake, you'll lose. Sorry, you'll draw, and if you make more than 2 mistakes, you'll lose. So obviously I've made no mistakes. He's made about 5, 6 there. So there's no way that I haven't won this. I think I'll have got about 20. Yeah, 19 to 12. So usually about 15 will win you it. It varies every time on the games. So we win, and we will get the best wig, and it's just been given to us, and it's the blonde wig. And obviously you've got 2 others. You've got a dyed wig and a plain wig. The dyed wig is obviously the middle one. The plain wig is obviously the worst one. If you notice as well, the game's very clever. Oh, we're just seeing Big Bro get knocked out there. But the game's very clever. The items now that we're collecting, they're named according to what they do. So for instance, a blonde wig looks nice. A dyed wig, well that's dyed, so it's not going to be as good. And then a plain wig, well, yeah, that's not very good either. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect the next few items, save the game, and then I'm going to go through both playthroughs. So, the next job is to get an item from here. So, you go to a free seat, you sit down, and you buy some food, anything you want. So I'm going to have the today's special, which will cost you 70 gil. Now, as I said before, a lot of this quest revolves around 3 different types of items which are labelled according to how good they are. So here, the 3 foods didn't matter. You eat it, but now you get a choice. So you've got no comment, I've had better dog food, or it was alright. And the best comment there is clearly it was alright. So if you press it was alright, they go thank you, and you get a coupon for the pharmacy. So it's the last coupon. So that's basically it. Now, if you have a look around here, you've got a pharmacy store here. I'll just show you. It says pharmacy, obviously, when you look at the name. Usually you just buy items here, but if you've got a coupon, I'll just show you where the coupon would appear. Appears in key. So we've got silk dress, blonde wig, and pharmacy coupon. It should say coupon. Now I'm going to exchange it for some goods. Now he'll go, oh, you've got a coupon. So you've got a free choice. You've got disinfectant, deodorant, or digestive. Now, earlier on when we were getting the dress, there was a chap who was busting for the loo, and there was someone inside who was ill, but they were ill with a stomach bug. Now, Disinfectant, that's not going to really help, is it? That's just going to clean up the bug he's made, and then it's just going to create more. You know, if he's sick, it's just going to make more sick. Deodorant, well, that'll make him smell a bit better. But digestive, you have a digestive biscuit or something, that helps, your tummy and your insides. So digestive is the best medicine to pick here. Deodorant is the second best, and disinfectant is the third. If you're seeing a pattern here, it's usually the bottom one we're picking every time. So I'm going to select digestive, and then this shop turns into a normal shop now. So it just goes lower, and then you can buy an item. So it's a standard shop, all the standard items. There'll be some new items here that you won't have seen before. Echo Screen and Eye Drop, they just cure silence and darkness. Now those two are ailments which don't really affect you that much. Silence means you can't cast magic or spells. Eye Drop means that you miss more often, but Barret, for instance, has got a really good hit rate. And then Hyper and Tranquilizer. Hyper cures sadness, but inflicts fury. And Tranquilizer cures his fury and inflicts sadness. The definition is that sadness causes you to take a lot less damage, but your limit gauge grows slower. Tranquilizer causes you to take, fury causes you to take more damage, but your limit gauge grows faster. But it's not proportional. So Tranquilizer will cure fury, which the fury status causes your limit gauge to go up about 1.5 times as fast, but you'll take double damage. Sadness, you take half damage, but your limit gauge goes up like a quarter as fast. So it's not good to be in either state. I just prefer to stay in the main state. But what I'll do is I'll buy a couple of everything, just in case. And I'm going to buy another tent, which are used to restore all your HP and your MP. And then any items to sell, I'm going to sell 1 ether. And I'm going to sell, that's it. Right. So now we've got our digestive, that's the next thing done. I'm just going to point you to this shop just for a quick sort of sneak preview of what's going to happen later on. If you click here, it says beep, then blip, and then a gun fires at you. Now, this shop isn't broken, it's just not configured. Now, I'm not going to give away too much more than that, I'll just let that continue. So, now we've got our digestive, we're going to go trade the digestive for another item. So at the moment we've got 2 items, and we've got some digestive medicine. Now if we go to this chap here, who's busting for the loo, and he's struggling to go anymore. Now if you speak to the person here, he's really ill. If you give her the medicine, you get sexy colonia, in other words some perfume. Now if you'd given her one of the other 2 measures, you'd have got plain colonia or flower colonia. So this is sort of the third item to make yourself look a bit nicer. Now there's 3 more items to go. Obviously if I could go into the mansion now if I wanted to. So the next item that we need to get will be a tiara. Now if you go to this shop in the corner, it's actually a materia store, as the menu suggests, but the guy's a bit lazy, he's a bit fed up. So he needs to talk man to man. And then he's asking Ares to go turn the other way. So obviously he wants to get something from the vending machine. He's banned from the inn. So now what you need to do is you need to go to the vending machine and buy an item. Now what I'm going to do now is after I've got this item, I'm then going to save the game, and that's going to be sort of my nodal point. And what I'll do is I'll continue here and show you how to get all the best items. So you go to the inn, you stay for 10 gil. Now it should be pretty obvious which one you need to get. The 50 gil will get you the low item, the 100 gil will get you a medium item, the 200 gil will get you a large item. So I'll get the 200 gil one. And now we're going to have a sleep. So I'm just going to fade out now until we get back to the bloke at the top of town. Okay, and we're back going to talk to the guy now. We've got the item, and he's going to have a quick check at it. Eric isn't too happy, and it's some sort of protein shake drink. Doesn't look too happy, but now we get a very nice tiara. Now obviously we gave him the best item, so we get the diamond tiara. There's also a flower tiara and a plain tiara, obviously the flower tiara being the medium item. Now, at this stage we have 4 of the 6 items. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my game now. And then once I've saved my game, I'm going to use this as a point to continue from, because I actually don't want to get all the items, because 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 there's some fights that you'll miss otherwise. So now there's 2 more items that you need to get. Now if you speak to the guy down here, you get a member's card to the Honeybee Inn, which is just down below. Now essentially, you can now go in and have a little look around. And just before I go in, I'm going to give you a little spoiler. This chap here is called Johnny. Now, Johnny, the reason why his name appeared is because he's a chap who's also from the same town as Tifa was, and he fancied Tifa as much as Cloud did, but the difference is that Cloud did something about it. But Johnny and Cloud used to sort of be, I won't say rivals, but they used to sort of both fight for Tifa's affection. You'll also notice you can speak to the guy at the front desk. So, what we do is we go into this room here. The lady unlocks it for us, and we go into the group room. And then she puts some water in the hot tub. So you're about to realise there's a lot of guys who are about to come in. Does look a bit like YMCA here. So now what happens is you're all going to go and have a nice good wash together. The game very cleverly avoids any body sort of images. Now the cabin out in the country, that alludes to a visit that you'll make, and you'll meet Mucky and some of his friends later on. Now, hopefully at the end of this, Cloud won't be too embarrassed. So the game will now pan down after they've all got redressed. And you're going to get bikini briefs. So, you've now got some underwear. And if you go into this top room here, you'll find some ladies putting on the makeup. And one of them will say that you can't come in here. And if you ask one of the girls to make you up, now you've had some makeup put on. Now that little ting sound was to suggest that you've actually done everything required. So now it's closing time and it's time to leave. If you speak to Johnny again, he'll realise that he's suddenly got over Tifa. Right, now if we just quickly check our menu, we have 5 key items. We have the silk dress, the blonde wig, the tiara, the colonia, and the briefs. The card doesn't really help. Plus we've got some makeup. Now, if we go to get made up, go back to the menu, we get to put everything on. So as soon as you click in here, you can't go back. So what's going to happen now is we're going to get changed. We're going to go in Don Corneo's mansion and he will select us. Once he's selected us, I'll stop the recording and then I'll restart back where I was. So as you can see, we're in a dress now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you back around the market, then I'm going to fade out to Don Corneo's. self-address, which looks a lot better than Cloud's, I must say, because Cloud's is sort of a dull purple colour, and Aerith is sort of like a bright red colour. The game does have a sense of humour by asking people not to peek. So now, we're about to go. So if I just quickly show you, if you go back now when you're dressed to say the food counter, you'll realise that they're completely full, and the other places don't let you get served. So I'm not going to show you around the rest, I'm just going to fade out to Don Corneo's. So we've just spoke to Don Corneo's, and he's going to let 2 more ladies in. And obviously I'm not going to continue with the game here, I'm just going to stop once we've got accepted, just to show you that this is all you need to do to get selected. So he says, I'll let the Don know that you're here. Now I'm just going to show you this video just so it can help you. That room's shut, that room is shut, this room obviously isn't. Now if we go down here, we're going to get into a big dialogue with Tifa. Now, the next sort of minute or two are just basic dialogues with Tifa where Cloud feels a bit bashful. So we'll play them through the first time, and then on the second playthrough we'll be able to skip them, because obviously on the second playthrough is when I want to fight the extra enemies and Don Corneo's boss. As you can see, there's an item in the bottom, sort of the top, top bottom corner there on the left. Now this story doesn't really tell you a lot about Tifa, because you already know all this. Cloud and I grew up to nothing more. Poor Cloud. Tifa doesn't realise that it is Cloud. If you go over here, we'll collect the item first, so just an ether, and then speak to Tifa. Now, all this will really inform you about is nothing about Tifa's past or Aerith's past. It will inform you about what happened after Cloud fell. So obviously Aerith was the one who helped. Now the beauty here is that Tifa is a very sort of sturdy character, and she's not in here because she wants to be in here. She's in here because Barrett found out some information about Don Corneo. So obviously he has a bride for every night, and I think he can put the rest together. Now, what's interesting is the information that Barrett found out from this dodgy looking guy, which he then, obviously, him and Tifa were talking about, as well as the members of Avalanche, was to do with Shinra, which obviously then made Barrett very angry. So Barrett went away, whilst this is obviously going on, to try and look at one avenue, i.e. trying to find out and infiltrate Shinra. Tifa thought about speaking with Don Corneo. So Tifa, Aerith and Cloud are now all together, and they're going to try and find out what they can from Don Corneo. Now obviously, because all 3 of them are on the same team, no matter which one gets picked, you will find out the information. It's just a case of how you get picked. So, no matter what happens in the next choice, you will get to speak with Don Corneo. It's just a case of whether you get to speak with him straight away, or whether you have to fight your way through some enemies. Now I prefer fighting my way through some enemies to get myself some more experience and some training. Now if we go up here, and then we get to go see Don Corneo. Now here Don Corneo will make his selection, and if you've got all the correct items, he will select Cloud. It's that straightforward. Now, once Cloud's been selected, I'm going to fade out this video and end and speak about what's going to happen in the next video, which will be the wall market to the Sector 7 sewers. So this is where Don Corneo has a quick look at everyone, and then he will have a second look at Cloud, as he thinks Cloud looks a bit dodgy. Don Corneo's going to make up his mind, and he's picked Cloud. And then he lets the other girls go with the others. So now Cloud's going to go off with Don Corneo, who's soon going to realise that Cloud's a man. So, that is essentially it for this playthrough. It's been a bit quicker, but there's not been many battles. There's been no battles, in fact. Now, those items that we've collected, if you don't collect all of them, he will usually select Tifa. However, he can also select Ares. The game is random, but it usually selects Tifa. Now, obviously we're finally alone, and that's basically the end of this video. So, before you click on Don Corneo, if you click here, there's a hidden hyper. Then once you speak with Don Corneo, you'll then get into a battle with a boss. Now, I'm not going to play through anymore, I'm going to end the video there. So that's essentially it for today. What you're going to see over the next video is going back through Wall Market, getting some new equipment, coming back to this area where we don't get selected, and having a few battles. Then once we've had a few battles, we'll encounter our next boss, the third boss of the game, called Apps. Now, once we've found and we've battled Apps, we're then going to continue forward, find our first piece of command materia, and then we're going to get into the first area where we can really build up and get some items and some training done.